All right. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our member meetup for the Natural Life Business Partnership. It is February 28th, 2018, and we are here with Sue-Ann Seccia-Harnden, who is a certified oh, damn it.
Usui
Reiki Master-Teacher, Energy Medicine Practitioner and Teacher, Animal Communicator, and the owner of Fifth Dimension Healing Energy LLC, based out of Clinton, New Jersey. Sue-Ann has helped dozens of people, wild and domestic animals, gain balance, wellness, and peace of mind over the past 5 years in her practice. Her expertise in people and animal energy medicine techniques that safely and gently rebalance the body's energy field. Help clients achieve stress reduction, physical, mental, emotional healing, and enhance their well-being and vitality. Sue-Ann's mission is to help you and your pets to become the best version of yourself possible. Thank you, Sue-Ann, for joining us today.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
For those of you that don't know, I am Camille Miller. I am the Executive Director of the Natural Life Business Partnership. Sue-Ann is one of our charter members and has been with us probably well over a year by now, right? Yeah, and we started doing these member spotlights so we could learn more about what each of our member specialties are and different pieces of holistic healthcare. And Sue-Ann has graciously agreed to be one of our first participants and talk about flower essences. Usually I do these because I don't have a perfect understanding of everything as well. And by doing these, we have questions and answers, and we can help you, the public, as well as our members, understand different facets and modalities of healing. So Sue-Ann, can you tell us a little bit about flower essences, what it is, how it heals, maybe even how you got started in it?
Sure. So flower essences are part of vibrational medicine. They're part of the plant-based vibrational medicines. Many people, you think about what plant-based medicine is, it could be from the most potent of things like your essential oils, it could be your herbals, your teas, your extracts, your dried herbs, things that you might use in a salve or a tincture. It can be homeopathy. Literally thousands of substances can be made into homeopathic remedies. Things that are plants, minerals, and other substances. And then you have flower essences is another part of that. And so those are kind of the spectrum of from most potent to, and I mean concentrated in terms of the density of also the preparation of the plant-based medicine. And they go all the way up from the more dense, interacting with the physical tissue in your body, all the way up to part of the modality is working more up at the subtle body or the energetic layers of your body, right? So we have really, dense concentrated medicine, literally, in terms of our essential oils. And then as we kind of go up and we go into herbals and into homeopathy and then into flower essences, we're really working more up at the subtle body layers and influencing our health and wellness and our optimal energetic pattern in that regard. So flower essences are literally the highest expression of, taking the highest expression of our plants, of the flower, which is the highest expression of that plant's divinity. And over literally billions of years, the evolution of a plant, it has, in order to produce that beautiful flower that it has had to solve literally, millions of challenges in its evolution in its environment, struggling with whatever it had to do to survive, to thrive, and become this best, beautiful expression of this unique and individual plant. And by harnessing the vibrational wisdom, if you will, of that flower through creating a flower essence, we're able to replicate the energetic pattern and the energetic information or wisdom, if you wish, from that plant and use that information for healing purposes. So flower essences are literally a very distilled vibration of that flower. That's why it's called an essence. And it is actually, flower essences do not smell like flowers. Because they are very much distilled from the flower itself. literally the way they're made is they will take the flower petals and they will infuse them into water, and the vibration of that flower will go into that water, and then they will basically, that will create an essence, a stock essence that can be used either as a singular by itself, or it can be used in a combination with other flower essences that are have similar challenges that are solved. So think of a spectrum of things that might solve a particular range of healing challenges, and they can be combined together to make a more complex flower essence that will address a whole range of conditions. So the way they're working is they're actually interacting with our electrical fields. So there's a couple of different, worldviews of healing, and one of those is more working at the pharmacological, physical entity, chemical level, which is a lot of where our drugs and medicines and even things that are like our essential oils and our herbals are, and to some extent homeopathy, are working at the more physical level, interacting within our energy body and our physical body. Flower essences are really going up a level. They are definitely working more in the electrical field and the energetic body to help influence the energy patterns that are there, and ideally to help rebalance, to provide missing clues that our electrical system, part of our energy body, is missing. And that's really the best reason to use a flower essence, is to get those healing clues seeded in, which the flower essence can provide, and your electrical system can take in and knows how to use. It knows how to take that electrical vibration. It knows how to read it. It knows how to send it where it's needed into your electrical field in your energy body. And then ultimately your energy body can rebalance, can take that information in and, we like to say, untangle whatever challenges it's encountered, or learn or grow, and help you move forward past any particular healing challenge. And the challenges can be at the physical level, they can be at the mental, emotional level, they can even be at the spiritual level. So I don't know if that's a good enough general explanation of flower essences.
Yeah, that's very good. So it sounds very similar to how I understand homeopathic medicine to be. Like when you take something and you shake it down, and it really has the energy of the plant. Is it similar, or is it different, or how is it the same or different?
Yeah, no, it is. There is a parallelness to homeopathy,
Okay.
in the fact that it's very, it's more distilled essence of it. Like I give the example of how concentrated, when you smell lavender as an essential oil, and it smells like lavender. It's very potent. You smell it, right? As you go up into homeopathy and flower essences, they don't smell at all like the substance. They basically have no scent, right? Because they are very much distilled and more of the vibrational essence. So there's a couple of key things that are different. Homeopathy will work at the physical and emotional layers, and they are, and that's where they shine. Flower essences can work at all layers and levels, but the key difference is they're working within the electrical field. They are not influencing your body's, how would we say it? It's not pharmacological. There's no chemical reaction in your physical tissues. So as a result, there are some, I'd like to say homeopathy, is great with its protocols, is a little bit more structured in terms of how to use it and how to get the benefits out of it by using it correctly. So there are some things that will, as an example, block the effectiveness of a homeopathic remedy. Like if you take the remedy and you have a cup of coffee with caffeine, or you have a breath mint, or you eat right away, you may actually block or negate that remedy's effectiveness. It needs some time to get in there and readjust. Whereas with a flower essence, we don't have any kind of constraints like that in terms of any protocols. You can use it alongside everything else. You can use it right after anything that might typically be considered a blocker in homeopathy. And the key reason is flower essences are literally information in a bottle. So they're not working at the pharmacological, chemical rebalancing, or in the case of homeopathy, you're really using the stimulation from the immune system. That's what you're using the remedies for, is to stimulate the immune system to do what it needs to do. And specifically, it's going to work with different parts of your, your body to do that, right, within your immune system. So flower essences are very different in that respect. You can use them kind of anywhere, anytime, any place. They're totally safe for people and for animals and for babies at any age, for any condition, because you're really just giving the electrical system additional healing clues about how to rebalance itself, or how to untangle something that's gotten mucked up, or literally provide information that might be missing somewhere in your electrical field as a possibility for you in terms of healing.
So are there particular flowers that are used for particular ailments? Like at what point does someone say, this is the best healing, or is it like an oil that people can use all the time in their everyday life?
Yeah, I guess the short answer is there are literally, infinite numbers of flowers all over the planet. And
Right.
so one of those could be created into a flower essence to address a particular healing based on what the healing wisdom of that plant and that flower is. So the way I work with flower essences is I do a consultation with the client and get the picture of like what's going on with you. Where are you experiencing challenges? What area of life? Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and then we kind of narrow it down. Maybe it's more relationship focused. Maybe it's I'm stuck with mission and purpose. Maybe it's I do have a physical ailment, or maybe I'm dealing with a spectrum of many challenges at many different layers and levels. Maybe it's not just me, but it's also the people or the animals in my home. I do a lot of work with animals with flower essences. And the thing is, we all, unless we're living by ourselves, you're in an environment with other people, everyone is sharing the same energy environment, and everyone is potentially interacting with their electrical bodies and their energy bodies. And so we're all kind of sharing that same space. So a lot of times rebalancing one person or one animal is also going to have that ripple effect to rebalance the other people in some form or fashion. So with a phone consult, we get kind of the story, we get the environment energetically, like what's going on, where are, is each person challenged, and then we basically formulate a custom flower essence for that, and that's what I do. And I work with a line called Green Hope Farm. When I get the stock bottles that I use in my apothecary, come in these little dropper bottles, right? And then depending on how many go in there, they will go into another bottle for the client. It might be, 10 flower essences, it might be 40 flower essences. It just depends on what comes up in the consultation to know which flowers and what areas they need to adjust. And then the client does get that back. It gets back their own custom bottle that's about this size. This is actually a 1 ounce dropper bottle, half-ounce dropper bottle, sorry. And then I usually tell them to go get another little mister bottle. You can get these at any health food store, just a cobalt blue or an amber bottle as a spritzer, because they're very effective to use. You can use them either taking the drops from your stock bottle and put them in your water bottle, right? Take a bottle of water with you and just put a few drops in and drink that throughout the day. And that's very effective for people because water is an electrical conductor and carrier. So the vibration is going into the water, and then you're drinking the water, and that vibration is going into you. With pets, it's really easy. Same thing. You would take a couple of drops of your stock essence. You would fill this bottle, to the shoulder with maybe 1 ounce of water, spring water, high quality water, not distilled, not tap water, unless you have really good artesian type well water, because we want a high vibration to basically hold the vibration of the flower essence. So that's why it's got to be a good water substance to go in here. And then using the spritzer bottle with pets, it's really simple. You can just, mist it around, spritz it in their environment. You never want to spray it in their face or anything, but you can mist it, a foot or two off of them and let it just sort of, fall into the area around them. You can spritz it into their carrier, their beds. You can put some drops or spritz it into the separate water source for them, into their food. So most dogs, particularly, I found you spritz it on your hand and you just put your hand out and they lick it up and they really like it. Even though it has now, this that I use is actually herbally preserved. It's preserved with a little bit of white vinegar and an herbal called red shiso. That's why I like the line I use, because it's, there's no alcohol in it. When we have, there are other lines out there that will preserve in alcohol, similar to what they do with herbal remedies, and that's a choice that a practitioner or a client could make. But I personally like this because this can work with everybody. There's no alcohol in this, and so you don't have to worry about anyone with, or any being with alcohol sensitivities, or any interaction with that vibration of the alcohol with the vibration of the flower essences. So they're really easy to use. The idea is to get it into your electrical system. So try to work it into a routine. I'm working with a flower essence for me, I start out the day by putting my drops in my water bottle, and I drink that water bottle throughout the day. If we're working with other beings or animals, I say work it into a routine. Just make sure, 2 to 3 times a day, maybe when you're feeding them or grooming them or some other routine you have, make sure you're out there using the flower essence with them, because you are seeding in clues so that they can use those clues for healing. So if you're not providing them the clues, they're not going to be shifting and you know, getting the information they need to make that healing shift in their life.
Very good. So Sue-Ann, how did you get started in flower essences?
Flower essences are something I've been using pretty much since the beginning of Fifth Dimension Healing Energy. I came on them pretty early on in terms of developing my animal practice. And this line came to me. Another practitioner actually recommended it to me. It's called Green Hope Farm. They're out of New Hampshire. And I went up and I read their website and I looked at what they had, and I had, you know, I knew a little bit about flower essences. Many people have heard of the Bach flower rescue remedy, which is a very common thing. And you can actually find Bach rescue remedy in the grocery store now. That's how common it is. But it didn't work for me. And I tried a couple of other things. Another herbalist I was going to for consultation, she had given me a couple of flower essences, and they did not really do anything for me. And I thought, well, why is that? And as it turns out, at the time, both of those were alcohol preserved. And what I sort of deduced later on was that the vibration was too low, or the alcohol was blocking it. So when I found Green Hope and I realized, oh, these are not alcohol based, and I started using them, I could immediately feel, you know, for myself that the energy and the vibration was a lot higher and more consistent. And then I just said, well, this is something I'll have to use. And I saw they actually had a whole line specific to animal wellness. So I thought, well, that's good because I really want to work with animals. So yeah, I've been using them, you know, religiously on a fairly daily basis for myself, my family, my pets, and certainly all my clients for the last 5 years.
Excellent. Nice. I can see how that works in you know. So right now, I just wanted to open up the lines to anyone who may have a question for Sue-Ann or about flower essences in general. So everyone on the line is muted, just so you know. If you'd like to answer a question, you have to unmute yourself, which is at the bottom left-hand side, or you can raise your hand and I can unmute you, and you can ask Sue-Ann any questions. Does anyone have anything?
They can all, I think they can type in chat too, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't even see a chat. Do you have a chat on your side?
I do.
Okay.
Yep. It's the beauty of Zoom. If you hover your mouse on the bottom of your screen, if you're on a computer doing this, and you click the little chat button, you'll get a little window underneath. Maybe it'll be off to the side or the bottom. Everybody's computer is different.
Okay.
Any questions I can answer about flower essences, or how you would use them, or what they're best for?
So can anyone use flower essences in their daily regimen, which we kind of just said, but would they do it on their own? Do they need consultation? How do they go about that?
Yeah, once we create the formula for you, assuming we've got, you know, did a good consultation and got the understanding of what you're looking for. Now, sometimes, you know, you can only just put so much in that little bottle. You saw that's a half-ounce drop
Right.
bottle.
Right.
So you want to get a lot of vibration, you know, as many different clues in there, and each one of those, of course, is literally, as a flower essence itself, has hundreds, if not thousands, of clues just within a single. So when we work with spectrum ones, you know, you're literally getting thousands of healing clues. So the idea is just, you know, once we've gotten the right vibration and I formulate for what I believe are the right flower essences for you, then it's a matter of you just figuring out how to get it into your electrical system every day. And as I said, from a compliance perspective, the simplest way is just put some drops in a water bottle and sip it throughout the day. You don't, unless you have questions about, you know, what kind of shift, usually that will come up in the consultation, like how long does it take? Well, that can be very tricky because it depends on what, you know, situation you're working with and what you're trying to unbalance. Like, I'll give you an example. Recently, sadly, I lost my youngest little kitty cat, and so we're all processing grief. And this has been a month. So we've been using flower essences pretty much every day. Now, you know, grief is a tough emotion. And so we had a lot of roller coasters with that. Some days are good, some days not so good, right? So we go up and down with that. But the consistently putting in a flower essence that specifically addresses grief and loss will help that roller coaster flatten out a little bit and help you process and deal with those strong emotions and help your electrical system rebalance so that, you know, you're not stuck in deep grief and dysfunctional, that you can actually function and, you know, be part of the world. So hopefully that's a good example. I do see a question on chat here. Do you want me to?
I was just going to say, I saw two of them. Angie has said, oh, well, her microphone's not working, but thank you, Angie, for using the chat. And I love this information. I use flower essences all the time, but I didn't know about the alcohol base that Bach uses. That's great information.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say.
Then they may have come up with a non-alcohol based. If they're not alcohol, they're either doing something like Green Hope is, which is a vinegar type base and a herbal preservative, red shiso in their case. And sometimes I think they even formulate them like they do the herbals with glycerin as an alternative to alcohol. So it just, you got to find the one that you resonate
Works
with.
for you. Yeah. Okay. And Stacy asks, would perfume preference be a simple explanation or comparison to flower essences? We all like certain scents on different days, but flower essences are more specific than the OTC, over-the-counter perfume.
Well, first I want to make the point that there's no aromatherapy component to flower essences, so it's not really a good comparison to perfume because we are not smelling the flowers. So, for example, there's a whole line of flower essences that have rose in them. There's so many different varieties of roses, and rose is used for a lot of heart type healing, emotional healing, things that it would affect the heart, for example, the heart chakra, relationship type things, feeling love, all those kinds of things. But when you use them, again, they don't smell like the flower they're made from because we're just distilling from the flower petals the vibrational information. So I don't know if that's a really great answer to your question, but it's more about the vibrational pattern that you're experiencing. And this is where it is a little similar to homeopathy. We're kind of trying to match and figure out the vibrational pattern that you're struggling with. In homeopathy, it's like for like. You're trying to match your symptoms to the homeopathic remedies symptoms. It's a little like that with flower essences. You're trying to figure out what clues are you missing or what vibration is lacking or needs to be shifted. And that's how we would choose the right flower essence for you. And you can do it yourself. I mean, if you have access to them, if you, went to the store and just said, oh, I read the description and this sounds like what I need, there's no harm in trying it, because that's the other great thing about flower essences is you really can't screw them up. They're hard because it's literally just information in a bottle. If you take it and you don't need that information, your electrical system will just ignore it and nothing will happen. So you really, really can't do yourself any harm. You can't really mess them up. The biggest thing you could mess up is just not using them on a frequent enough basis, especially if you are intent on trying to shift a pattern, because you just won't give yourself enough information, healing information, to help get into the electrical system consistently for it to be able to take that information and help you shift.
Excellent. All right. We have nothing else on chat. Is there any other questions for people that are out there? I'm just going to wait. All right, I don't see any other questions coming up here. I see a yes, but I don't know what that means. All right, I think we've answered all the questions. I think that's about it. You gave a terrific explanation, and I thank you so much for your time and all your wealth of information on the subject, and I look forward to learning more. You're doing another one. Let's just give you a little plug there. You're doing another one of these.
I am. On May 20th.
May?
Yep, May 23rd, the spiritual response technique.
Spiritual response technique, yeah.
SRT, we call it, which is really a spiritual clearing and helps kind of remove negative, limiting, blocking type patterns that are in your energy field, in your really in your whole soul body, I guess I will say, because I've used it for everything from physical ailments all the way up to spiritual level challenges. And when you have a pattern of kind of like, same junk happening different day, or you just don't really feel like yourself and you can't get out of your way, SRT could be a really good way to shift that pattern so that you're back to positive free will choice in doing what you want to do, in your life. So yeah, that'll be a fun one to talk about in May.
We look forward to that in May. So if anyone listening to this, we are again the Natural Life Business Partnership, and we are doing these member spotlights just so you get to know a little bit about our members and their modalities and how we can help. And if you're a member already and you'd like to share what you have and your gifts with other members and just like to explain to members and consumers, I should say, please just let me know and we'll get you up there. But thank you, Sue Ann. Thank you for your time today. And that's about it for today. So I'm going to say goodbye and thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining us today too.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.